Hi guys, welcome to this session on Microsoft Word. In this module I want to have a look at indents, how you create indents, how you can adjust indents. So first of all, I have a document on the screen as you can see, and I'm going to click into the first paragraph and show you how to do a simple left indent. Now in the paragraph group you have increase and decrease indent at the top there. If I click increase, this paragraph moves across 1.27 centimeters, which is the default, and you can see the paragraph left aligned paragraph marker sitting on the ruler. If you don't have your ruler active, you need to go view ruler, tick it on, then you can see the indent markers there. Now if I move my mouse up a little bit, you can see the hanging indent marker, which I'll show you in a second, and then a bit further the first line indent marker. So the rectangle at the bottom moves the whole indent. So even though I click the button, I could manually do that. So I'll put that back to the left margin. I can actually pick that rectangle and move it into whatever position I want. Or as you saw, I can click the button. But when you click the button, it does 1.27, 1.27, 1.27, and then back the same amount. On the right hand side of the ruler you can see the right indent marker sitting there, so you can bring this paragraph in. It's only acting on the first paragraph because that is what I'm clicked into. If you wanted it to be for more than one paragraph, you would have to highlight the paragraphs you want it to apply to, and then whatever you do will apply to the selected paragraphs. Now if I move my mouse to the top marker, the first line indent, and push that onto 1 centimeter, you can see both these paragraphs, because they're selected, are reacting to my selection. So I'm pushing that to 2 centimeters. Same with the right indent marker and bringing that in. And to make this look nice and neat, I always like to put justified on as well, so it's nice and straight down the right margin. And the key command to knock off indents is Control and Q. If I do Control and Z for undo, Control Q, it doesn't knock off just indents, it's reset paragraphs, basically, that key command is. So that's basically the left and right indents where they sit. Now if I just go through that again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this manually now. So if I put that at 2 centimeters, so that was me doing it manually. If I pick up the bottom triangle, so I'm pointing to where it says hanging indent, I can pick that bit up and move that across to 4 centimeters, and you've created what's called a hanging indent. Now the chances of you creating that manually or yourself is pretty small, but where that comes in is when you're using numbered lists, which I'll show you in a second. Now if I want to put these back together, it's no good picking up on the rectangle, because that just moves them both. It moves them both whether they're together or staggered like this. So if I want to put those back together, I need to sit on one of these. So I'm sitting on the hanging marker and then push it back to the other one. Now I'm just going to pull all this back to the margin for a second. Quite often you see things like this where the first line might sit in the margin. Now it wouldn't be in this sort of example here, it would probably be if you've got a numbered list on. So I'm just going to push this back together and show you what I mean. So when you click on 1, 2, 3, this list there, it automatically does an indent, and it's got a hanging indent. So there's a body of the paragraph hanging off the first line. Now the first line could be in the margin for numbers. So if I pick up the left indent marker again, push that to the margin, and then you see that the first line, which in this case is a number, is sitting in the margin. And again, you can adjust that manually if you want it to be further across or more of a gap. But basically that's the stagger that you have created by having a numbered list on. If I just take that off, now the whole indent's gone into the margin, so then I would pull that across. Now indents can cause lots of stress to people when they've got documents that have been sent to them via email and they haven't done the indents and they don't actually know what's causing problems. What you need to do is just basically double click on the margin, have a look where the indents are, highlight the document, and see if there's any indents showing. They'll probably be greyed out if they're not on every paragraph. So if I put this back to there, this resets all these paragraphs. So it's absolutely essential, as far as I'm concerned, that you activate the ruler, because you can't see indents, you can't see tabs, and you'll be sort of trying to fix things blind. And the last thing you want to be doing is spacebar, trying to spacebar things across, because all you're doing there is putting almost like full stops everywhere. You can't see them without show hide on, but that is the problem. I'll just take that off for a minute and get rid of that. So that is doing the indent from the ruler. The key command to put a left indent on is Control and M. Every time I do Control and M, it's moving across 1.27 centimeters. And if I do Control, Shift and M, it will move back. Now, I don't usually teach people that in my classes because it's very close to Control N, which is, I'm sure you know, new, which then does that and causes a bit of stress because people think they've lost all their stuff. But Control M, Mike, is the key command for increase indent. Now, to put these on, if I double click in the margin, that's a paragraph. 3 clicks in the margin is a whole document. I can now go into paragraph. There's a paragraph group and there's format paragraph, as it's used to be called, because what you've got here is left and right indent options. And if I wanted every paragraph to be first line, I could go like that and OK, and they're all first line. Now, if I undo that, because I've got them all selected, I can manually do that, as I've shown you already, but it's quite difficult to get 1.27. That's why you would go into the, it's all right if you're doing single centimeters or halves, but 1.27, is that 1.27? Let's have a look. Sod's law, I'll get it. No, 1.25. You're not far off, but you're not going to get 1.27 unless you select it from here or type it yourself. And even once, now I've done that, I'm going to have to type it, and then that will be 1.27. That's a very specific measurement. It's dependent what sort of documents you have to lay out. Sometimes the margins, the indents are very specific, and you have to set them for the document. I'm just going to do Control Q to reset everything. So the ways that you can do an indent, as you can see, is use the ruler. Using the ruler, left indent, right indent, split them, first line indent, or do a hanging indent. If it's a numbered list, that's probably going to be done automatically for you. By the way, the key command for hanging indent is Control and T, and Control Shift T will bring it back. But the chances of you doing that, like I've already said, is pretty minimal, because it's going to be appearing for you on a numbered list. Now, that was that one. And then the other way of doing it would be to click these two buttons: increase, 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 decrease, decrease, decrease. And then the last way of doing it is in the paragraph format box or dialog box, and you've got left indent, right indent, and then first line or hanging from this option there. Whichever one you pick, first line or hanging, it does default to that at 1.27 centimeters, which for older people is ½ an inch, or for the US is ½ an inch. Okay, so I'll just cancel that, I'm not going to do that. So that's basically how you use indents, and that's all I want to talk about in this little session. So thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the next one.